Hey everyone, it's Jessica. I just wanted to show you a few things on PD&E and talk you through the CLT container. So I hope that this works and that you find it useful. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, Julie, I hope you don't mind. I'm using your PD&E. You're awesome, so it should be fine. So if you go into the container that's called Collaborative Learning Team Fall, you'll see a bunch of stuff. Don't get overwhelmed. It's not all due right now. So there's one that's called Submit Artifacts, number 4. So I'll just show you a couple of things in there first because I know everyone's curious about where to put the artifacts. So this is where you will go. One thing to really pay attention to on here, and it's fine if you guys need to fix any of it, is it shows you the naming convention. We're just trying to get everyone in the cohort to name their assignments the same way. So if you will please make sure you upload last name, first name, and the assignment title. So you can say something like Anderson underscore Julie underscore partnership agreement. Anyway, so here is where you can upload all of your artifacts. So Julie has her partnership agreement with her admin sponsor uploaded. Her second grade CLT has done their team agreements and they're uploaded right here. When you go into your submit artifacts, you can upload many of them in this area right here. So it's going to say something like minimum files to be attached. That means you can upload a few more. And then if you use protocols like Jen, she sent me a protocol that she used for a data dig, and then she showed me some pictures of what her team did for goal setting and student and teacher actions. So that artifact with her narrative to support those pieces can be uploaded here as well. All right, so let's go back. Again, I'm just in your landing screen for the coaching plan in the container of CLT Fall. So let's go to that first one. It's CLT Goals. So it's PGP or your Professional Growth Plan CLT Goals. So this is just for you. This is not about the student learning goal or the teacher or CLT learning goal. This is for you, the CE candidate. So for Julie, she's going to write a goal for herself that she wants to work on in the program. So think about your CST and how I've talked you through your rubric. There are indicators on your rubric. So you may say, I really want to work on the communication standard. So I think that's standard 4. So you could go to standard 4 and look over those indicators and say, ooh, I really want to do indicator 1 or 2. Or you may just say the whole standard. So you will write a SMART goal. And these that I'm highlighting right here are just directions for you, questions to consider when writing that SMART goal. So the first one, for example, says specific. It says, what do you want to accomplish? So you may say something like, I want to work on the skill of communication with a coachee or a team. Measurable is often the most difficult part of a goal. So you want to make sure that whatever you choose to work on can be assessed and measured for growth. So if you say you want to work on communication, we are going to wonder, how will you measure that work with communication? It may be anecdotal, or you may use tally marks. You may collect data on your skill of providing feedback and how effective or how often you are doing it. Action-oriented is, what steps will you take? I need to know what you're going to do to accomplish your goal. So kind of like actions that we talked about with students and teachers. Realistic means that in your 8 weeks or in your program, can you really accomplish that? So if you say something like, I want to increase my ability to do this by the end of the year, and you don't know that you can accomplish that, it's not the right goal. Time bound is, I need to know when you're hoping to accomplish this by. So when you go into your plan, this is what you'll see to guide you, and then you will click somewhere in here to start writing it. It doesn't need to be a fantastic and perfect SMART goal. In fact, I will provide feedback for you, and you can refine it or retype it or whatever you need to do. But I'll just want to give you a couple more tips. For the first one, it needs For us specific, also think about how it will make a difference. So whatever your goal is, it should be something that will make a difference for you as a coach. For measurable, the M, be sure not to use any adjectives or adverbs. So those can create judgment and opinion-based goals, and it's much easier if you use fact-based goals here. For the A, action-oriented, think like you need to understand that there's a difference between practice and where we want to get. So what will you do to put it into practice? And then for realistic, something that you can actually accomplish, which I think I said before. And then finally, the time bound, a specific time period. Think of so in 8 weeks or in the first semester or in my year as a coach. And then that should help you get started on that. So I'm going to go back. Please reach out if you have any questions, but I would just recommend for your SMART goal, just go in there and type something and say, hey, Jessica, I uploaded. Can you look at my SMART goal and provide feedback? And I absolutely will. Okay, so for the second one, the CLT coaching plan pre-work. This is that CLT self-assessment I talked about at Saturday session for all of like 3 minutes. So the CLT self-assessment can be given to your CLT either in a whole group during a meeting, or you can hand it to them, put it in their box, and ask them to turn it into you when they have a chance. So in this area right here, you will put the average of your team's results. So when you get in there and click new, you'll see boxes pop up. You just don't see it on Julie's because I'm not Julie. And you'll just type in the numbers. You will also, in this section over here, if you see my mouse moving on the right side, if not, look on the right side. It says candidate score. So you will do your own CLT self-assessment and do not average yours in with your teams, and you'll put your own score over on the other side. And then number 3, the next thing I want to talk about is the CLT coaching plan initial. This is important, and if you look at your course of study, you'll see that some of these assignments are due already or they're coming up really soon. So many of you have already looked at data with your teams. You've emailed me, texted me, we've talked on the phone, you've talked about all the great work that's happening. Here's where you capture it. This is important right here. Don't forget to link the AKS that you and your team are focused on. So if it's AKS 3 and literacy, here's where you're going to choose that. Don't forget that step. And then whatever data you use, whether it's a DA or a common assessment from your team or grade level, you'll type in the number of students who fell in these categories. Down here, please elaborate on how your team determined criteria for achievement level descriptors above. You may say something like, well, we use the ALDs, blah, blah, blah. Or you may say, after grading the common assessments, we were able to say this range of scores was proficient, so on and so forth. Okay, that's a lot of information all at once, but feel free to listen back over this, press pause, call me, text me, email me, whatever you need to do. But I just wanted to show you those few things because some of them, like I said, are already due or they're coming up pretty soon. I don't want you to panic over any of this. Some of you have reached out to me and we've set up a plan of when you'll start turning this work in or how you can lump a few of these activities together. But as you are doing the work, continue to collect artifacts. So Jen sent me the artifact of her team setting goals based on data and how they labeled student and teacher actions. That's a great artifact. So she can upload that in the submit artifacts. And just like Jen did, I want all of you to think about how you can provide context for me about the work that you're doing. So uploading just an artifact alone won't paint the picture for me because I wasn't there to observe it. So when I look at the rubric and I'm looking at indicators to evaluate you guys and your artifacts, I want to be able to put the whole picture together. So if you sit down and make team agreements with your team, tell me a little bit about how that went or what protocol you used. If you used the one from Coach Camp, tell me that. Just give me a little bit more context with a short paragraph or a couple of paragraphs, so that when I'm putting all your artifacts together, I can really look at the totality of evidence to give you a score on that rubric that we've looked at together, which means that you should probably keep that rubric beside you as you evaluate yourself. So, just summarize, look back over your program of study, look at what dates are up now or have passed, and pace yourself for turning that work in. Go through PD&E, see what you can fill in, what you've already done, and just remember to keep that rubric beside you, especially when you're writing a summary to go with your artifacts before you upload them. Write a SMART goal, just give it a go. I'll provide feedback for you, no worries at all. And then when you go into your initial, go ahead and put some data in there. I know it seems like a lot, but if you guys just go in and do a little bit, maybe a couple times a week, and just stay on top of it that way, and then I will continue to support you and follow up with you. Everything's gonna be great, and yeah. So again, reach out if you have any questions. Otherwise, that's it. Have a great day, everyone.